Welcome back, everyone. We just saw a 13-6 take place, and it takes us to map number 3 between TSM and SAD. And it was a very close beginning when it was the back and forth, the pistol. It seems like it could have been closer, but never mind. It was absolute domination as we got to see a 10-2 half, and then it started to make a comeback. A SAD comeback started happening, and you guys were debating, when do you believe? And right when Gompers believed, the series ended.
Crazy. That's actually literally the truth.
I'm just, you know.
This is so sad.
You hate to see
I come out of the desk with a smile. I leave in my Joker era. I really can't right now. This is so sad. I should have just never believed, honestly.
It's because you're working with Dan Dryan, who's on their hater arc today.
I would never do that. I'm like the Joker. I'm like this all the time. Anyways, guys, it was honestly even more dominant than the first one. The first map, it went the way of SAD at 13-5. The second one was a 13-6 going the way of TSM. But it felt even stronger. It felt even more dominant, even if it was one extra round that they have to play out. And it was just the heroic plays that were coming through for this TSM squad. I feel like finally today we did see Sim coming back, and I think this is actually very impressive, Wyatt. You see the first kills, it was 12 going the way of SAD, but the conversion was not really there.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to the late rounds. TSM, you can see they had the 2 clutches on the bottom, which I don't think counts 1v1s. I forget. I don't know how the stats thing works, but in the late rounds, a Proto I know had like 3 clutches. There was another one that I think was a 1v1, and so it's just those moments the TSM are running away with the game, and that was the case in the first map too. Even though it was dominant for SAD, TSM were winning the clutches. Right now, they have 6 clutches against SAD. I don't know how many SAD have. I can't even really I can't recall any. If they do, it's like 1 or 2, right? So that's been a massive boost to TSM. Yeah. Their individual skill is super on display in those moments. But yeah, on this map, they fundamentally pretty much outplayed them. Like it was very solid all around.
Yeah, and we got to see this new composition coming out for TSM. We were expecting that standard that they ran already one time, but guess what? They brought something completely new. The double duelist with the Astra, and if you are like me and you're wondering, where did we see this composition? Because we've seen it before. It's actually Gen G at Masters Madrid running this composition exactly the same and executing the way that they were playing. TSM was playing was pretty similar ideas. I think even implementing more ideas into what this Yoru could do to take that full control of the map. And again, something that we've seen more and more, so you do find that success in that way. But now, I know you guys want to talk about this last map because things have been a little silly over there for SAD. They've been running this Yoru Gecko composition very out of the standard, and out of the 4 weeks where they've had the chance to go Ascent, they played it 3 times, and only 1 time, the first time that they run this composition, they actually found success. So, Gompers, are we going to see this composition again?
I'm scared to say yes or no, because as you mentioned before, everything I say just ends at the complete opposite. But you know what? I'm gonna say for my sake and SAD's sake, yes, they will run the Yoru. They will run the Breach, Brimstone.
So they're not running it. Thank you, Gompers. Now, Wyatt, what are we thinking?
I do not think they're going to be playing it this time. It was a good cheese comp to try and catch out M80. They almost won off of it, and then they ran it again against Turtle Troop, and it just got so exploited and hard countered by them. I would be very surprised if they run it again. I mean, I would imagine TSM are pretty prepared for it if they do so. So far, SAD haven't played anything unorthodox, and I kind of expect them to go back to something pretty, relatively just standard meta on this map, which I'm not mad at. I mean, listen, we're going to get Darkest on the KO, can thrive on that agent. We're going to get Bob on Sova. She thrives on that agent. So I think they're going to be totally fine just going back to the standard thing, which is what I'd like to see them do.
And we've seen a couple teams, like Turtle Troop, for example, that have run some compositions, some different compositions early on, and then they switch to the standard. And that is something that actually happened to Turtle Troop, for example, in Lotus. And they said, you know, sometimes these weird compositions, they run really well in scrims, but when you actually go into the matches, they don't turn the same way. So it might be one of those cases for SAD where when they're running it in scrims, where they're running it first time against these teams, it is difficult to adapt, and it requires a lot of work by the IGL to really adapt on how this Gecko Yoru is going to play out, especially with the map control that the Yoru can have. But I do also agree that we might be seeing a change. Now, what's interesting, though, on the other side is that for TSM, we have not seen this map, and this is a map that is going to allow Sim to shine a lot, to thrive the way that he was doing on the second map when he was enabled by that space, by that operator. So let's jump into the agent select. Let's see if that's going to be that composition change by SAD, or is going to be the same. We had some predictions here about that, and yeah, it is looking pretty standard. It is looking the same as everybody else's on this side of SAD. And for TSM, a slight change here when they have the Cypher instead of the Killjoy that is often played on this meta. But yeah, SAD, they go to the standard. Gompers, that is all thanks to you. So
you're welcome,
give
guys.
me your thoughts.
My thoughts are exactly what I said before. I knew this was absolutely not going to happen. I'm just going to keep saying the opposite because I feel like when I don't, everything gets messed up. So actually, no thank you, guys. You're welcome. I mean, you're not welcome.
I'm definitely going to be paying attention to the Jet head-to-head here. Ascent is absolutely the Jets' playground map in Valorant, and Sim was playing really well on the previous. We'll see if we'll see if Skarn can step it up and match that level of play. And I think the real overarching thing for me here is that on map 1, SAD's fundamentals were fantastic, and they just weren't up to par on Breeze. Of course, that wasn't their map pick, but now that we're on Ascent, a map that they, at least in matches, are playing pretty frequently, going to be looking to see if it can get to the heights that, you know, that aspect of the game was on for them on Split, the first map in the series, or if TSM can kind of just carry the momentum into this one. Interested to see what they do here as well with the Viper and the Cypher, especially on this attack side. Of course, there's going to be a trip for their flank on A. It looks like they're going to go for a big hit, and in the meantime, looks like SAD want to go for a push down mid, so we might end up in a situation here where TSM get the site, and then they're going to have to fend off a retake from players coming at pretty much all angles from their own spawn, from tree, etc.
Oh, they read into this, though. Understanding the KO and its tendencies, so SAD Esports lack a pretty good amount of information, and it's huge, too, because the only info they got was possibly Cypher Cam, which tends to be one of the highest lurkers, so absolutely no info coming through, and already a big entry through from TSM.
Yeah, things slowed down by that knife from Darkus. Oh my god, the jump spot. Really cheeky, almost able to get a first pick off of that as well. The door comes down, huge fight on the flank here. A Proto gets caught from Bob. The trip is going to be down, and we are in that situation where SAD are going to be retaking from every angle. All of TSM in sight, flash and dash to get in.
Everybody already down in the back of sight, but Coburg manages to find a couple of their own SAD Esports already on a pretty good lengthy stride. Would it have been better if I did see the breach? Yeah, but you know, this is good too. No, I'm just kidding. Great performance already so far coming through.
Everyone note down
A really good retake. Bob, obviously, massive impact kill on the flank there. A Proto expecting someone to be pushed out of mid as well, or, you know, he was going to go try to find a late timing to push Upcat himself into tree. But Bob wins that 1v1, shuts down the trip, and now all of a sudden TSM have every angle to look at. And then the pressure from that quick flash from Darkus, the dash in from Skarn, was a really good round from SAD to kick things off here. Get some momentum back after a really brutal loss on Breeze.
Getting slightly smoked off down in A, especially if you're GMD, just trying to get a potential sandwich in. But, oh, this is huge. Watching the angle. with the judge in hand, knowing this team's going to want to erupt very, very quickly and finding majority as well at that. Just having the backup there, and that's beautiful. SAD Esports playing this and just shutting down the buy route coming through from TSM, which in turn just obviously leads to their own demise in the next round as well.
Yeah, I didn't even notice until it was too late. I was thinking about the previous round that TSM actually forced into this off the spike plant. DMD picks up the judge, just trying to go for a miracle kill. Has a whole lot of different Stinger skins to choose from, but with 64 HP up against 3 players from SAD. Basically an impossible task here, despite how good he's been for TSM this year.
Yeah, still stuck up top though. GMD wide swinging the angle, not letting anyone really take the fight on their own, isolating. But yeah, SAD Esports, they guaranteed themselves another round possibly as well, especially with that huge buy coming through from TSM.
Yeah, I'm really looking to kind of see the replay here, excuse me, back on what happened, because that full buy caught me off guard. I was just kind of thinking about what happened previously, and all of a sudden they go for that fast effort into tree and just get shut down. It was a good timing on that nade from Darkest, and you know, a situation in which SAD just did a pretty good job swinging for each other. But of course, CSM take a massive risk on a scent attack, no less. Such a defensive-sided map. They're going to be off to a really tough start here. 5 sheriffs on this round, going to be extremely tough to win. Economy's going to get out of hand for SAD. Definitely an uphill climb for them early into this game.
Yeah, still looking to set this team back just a bit. TSM struggling to find any sort of isolation on the pistol round. Of course, that's what SAD just like to do. Honestly, they're not trying to force these fights to give away. Still owing some respects down to TSM.
Slowing down here, pressuring out mid a bit off that Viper wall, which makes some nice space to get into the close area in mid just before Pizza. Knife comes out, Darkest on the proper angle. Zostal watching A main. Sheriff's at long range. We'll see if TSM can make any magic happen here.
Maybe not. Yeah, especially with Darkest watching that angle with an outlaw. Majority of the damage just set down there, and Classics being brought out as well. So, yeah, definitely not the way you want to go down if you're TSM, especially their Skarn just ending your life in a matter of seconds. So 3-0 off the rip coming through from SAD Esports, and maybe this pick wasn't so bad that the default descent composition, especially laying Coburg down on that, my apologies, Killjoy. I don't know why that just slipped my mind.
All good. SAD doing a good job as well. They're just playing off of each other. Skarn gets that quick rotate into heaven to pick up tree, help out Darkest. So far, so good from them. Outlaw still in Darkest's hand. Poise the only player with a light armor. And SAD gonna go for this aggressive take of B main.
You're rummaging for some potential. Here on the side of TSM, waiting for a big push through from SAD, and this is a huge read. Expecting this to happen. 2K coming through from Poise. Of course, Coburg with a refrag. With the potential a little bit larger for TSM, making that win condition be that person advantage.
And that knife just spotting out a proto there, they assumed that he would be the only one there, right? Given he was the Cypher, the Sentinel, that's why they went so aggressive. And TSM just hard punished them off that, working into this A split now.
Cover going out.
Slowly working themselves up. GMD down on the right-hand side. Doesn't even look through smoke, so it's Zostal to run away with that one. SAD Esports, what a flick. Surprisingly, somehow, just managing to make things work. Despite that player disadvantage, now stuck in a 2v1 situation, and now absolutely no one left alive to tell the story.
Coburg has had such a breakout performance today. The flick with the Bulldog. I mean, certainly from that situation, you don't expect the player necessarily to be on Gen. Of course, could be, but wasn't aimed for that. Hits the flick, is going to lose that, you would think, most of the time, right? Surely. What a performance. All those rounds earlier, when you think back to the Ghost on map 1, etc., like, this has just been Such a standout performance from him. Puts TSM back on a bad bye.
Toxins failing.
You know, trying to search around. There's silence left. Down to it. Slightly afraid of Sad. I mean, Sad applying a lot of that pressure. Not really a lot to put into this round as well. 7 already utilizing one of their flashes just to get some of that space down in mid.
And Sad are just going to go ahead and play this round pretty passively, not going to overplay this. They have the turret over at B, which is watching the mid cross if TSM opts to push up there off that standard Viper wall that they're putting up when you do see a Viper on the attack side. And on the opposite end of the map, Sad are just going to, you know, post up to play tree. They have Darkest to watch A main.
Here.
They don't want to give anything away here. They don't want to over push. Always going to be sent back by some spam. That turret going to get contact.
And a pop flash down towards the back side, of course, huge.
That's done.
Possibility just down through the wall. And of course, tons of information just being given away to the side of Sad Esports. They can't do anything about it. Semi-save round just left up to TSM to see if they can scrounge for some sort of weapon, but 14 seconds left in a dream, especially with Spike already being placed down, and he's also watching the angle 1v2 situation. Yeah, location given away. Absolutely no time. All they have to do here is wait and try not to die as well, but beautiful shots come through from Coburg.
My ultimate is
Steps
ready.
it up so much again. Sad we're trying to explode back into the site to help Coburg, but TSM just slowed things down. We're holding the angles on main and market, catching those players out. They were trying to get in quickly. Just too fast on that timing. If they had waited just a little bit longer when those TSM players had to actually push into sight, they probably would have just gotten a fully clean round there, shooting them in the back, getting some pretty easy kills. It was a good effort from TSM to turn that around. And then, of course, you're just looking at Coburg again at the end. 8-0 right now on the Killjoy. Clearly the standout player for Sad today. Just excellent play across 2 maps now so far. Sad up 5-0 on the favored defensive side of Ascent.
Timeout from TSM. I mean, very, very valid. 5-0 just coming through on Ascent. But super strong performance, and I think it would be even more worrisome that lockdown is there. A huge counter to the Viper's pit we're seeing that could possibly be placed by Poist. So, I mean, if anything, still a bit more in favor of Sad Esports there.
And now that they're back on this full buy, interested in seeing a big round here, how TSM are going to approach things with this composition. It's going to be a new Viper wall actually over towards the B side.
Flashbang.
Which, you know, if you get through main, kind of allows you to perhaps walk in, but Coburg is playing in front of that wall, just getting information. And look at the quickness on the rotate here from Sad, getting out of that B site. Actually going to work down towards mid, it seems, but TSM, you can see they're gathered up for a big A hit here, and they have a Viper's pit for the post plant.
Yeah, big clear coming through from mid, and some of the pings over towards A, so they know there is a possibility for, you know, this hit to really come through, though everybody on the side of TSM just already applying that pressure and managing to take majority of the control, though now, of course, players just sitting around down a tree, waiting for this entry to be committed. Poise peeking the angle. Of course, though, 2 players already down Sad Esports, taking TSM and just ripping them apart, especially with suppression just laid down. Now at least trying to make things even more clear for the side of TSM, but headshot after headshot, isolation after isolation, just can't seem to win any single fight. 7 left alone down in hell, and praying that there might be a possibility, but there isn't. 6-0 already left down to Sad.
The TSM players just getting over-eager, swinging into tree with no smoke on the door, trying to take the fight to Sad, and just running into crosshairs, getting gunned down. The KO ult was perfect from 7 as well, because Coburg wasn't able to put in an early lockdown. Sad were content to play retake because of it, and that just got nullified by the null command. But TSM, I'm not a fan of how they played that post-plant situation. It's going to result in their economy getting broken again. Sad Esports, fantastic performance here so far. Looks like they want to take control of a main with the KO and the Jet. That knife close, the one-way smoke comes in there. Gonna post up Skarn back in Wine. And in the meantime, that's just gonna allow the rest of SAD to focus on the beast. They have the alarm bot for mid, the turret to play off contact in main. This is a good setup for them right now.
Okay, turret's watching the angle, actually waiting for these players to make that play, and it's a beautiful contact play just based off that alone. At least knowing now Sim is on the outskirts, but the paranoia helps slightly, blinding both of them and leaving SAD Esports to fight this. Beautiful shots from Bob, and of course it's there, playing with their feelings. A Proto with the jiggle peaks, and backup now arriving. 1v3 situation, and a dream left up to a Proto to take that spike. Maybe make the rotation as well, but it doesn't seem to happen. 6 health left.
It's incredible that he's still alive, but they're gonna drone him. I mean, just not willing to make a single mistake, not willing to give a Proto an inch. The amount of util to clear him out is ridiculous, but yeah, they are just not trying to throw away a single thing here. They are fighting hard for this win and playing so well on Ascent.
And we're
Looking difficult, if anything. SAD Esports took a step up, and not even sure where it came from, but it saved ultimate from Poise. That could honestly make pretty big. That would be a pretty big commitment on the side of TSM, but could get them around on the board.
They have this Viper wall to walk up close mid, flash through it, try and catch someone out behind. This is some good early control. Gonna break, the alarm bot as well. And this is gonna put a lot of pressure on SAD now to have to pick up and cover mid. E-split gonna come in pretty fast here from TSM.
They're already marking the positions of where these players are. Unfortunately for Bob, kind of gives themselves away with the tracing there. So now you have to fight this down back side. GMD watching and looking for this pick to come through also, but the Odin might actually be too strong. Oh, and they hear the noise. They know somebody might be there, but they don't spray in time. Instead, leaving this up to Coburg to fight this down the backside. And SAD might just lose their first round into this half. It's up to Darkest to make that say. Of course, 2 flashes left available in his suppression as well, so tons of utility to use. Slow work.
Taking his time. Yeah, trying to get a first spam kill, bait out a peek.
No way.
Yeah, Poise just gonna shut that down. Difficult situation for Darkest. The first round for TSM on the board. And again on those B hits, I like that they slowed things down again after getting into the site. Aware that on the previous, that kind of position just baited SAD into peeking through spawn. And it worked again. Skarn got baited, took a peek through spawn, went down. All right, now that we've gotten the picks on the people rotating over, let's deal with everybody back site. That's exactly what they do.
Get out of
Good
my
decision
way.
making there. Good call to, just lower the pace a little bit into this round. 4 ults on the side of TSM. Sim popping those knives.
Still silence. Maybe the dash heard, but I mean, even then, 7 having a huge lineup to see if anybody's hiding just within Wine. And as they pick that out, they clear out the angle as well, and a huge suppression already coming through on 7.
Here.
On my apologies, Darkest.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you just have Skarn in mid trying to play off of the alarm bot. Really the primary information here. Actually, now, look, Bob just fired off a recon into B main. And you can see if that's going to pull her away towards A. Absolute silence right now from TSM. Smoke gonna go down deep mid to try and make Sad feel like they're gonna work that area of the map, but it's actually the A hit. Great entry from Sim.
Sim just took it away. And now another one as well. Big entry off of TSM. We were missing this portion of them, that the controlling, very, very adaptive team that is now putting a lot of that work through. Of course, Viper's Pit now laid out as well, taking in majority of tree. So if they want to fight this, there's only one angle that they can. And even then, if they want to try to, maybe. But the Sandy falls with a beautiful 4K.
Gorgeous from Sim. Great entry as well. Just been so impactful in those situations for TSM this year. Finding those first bloods on attack. Whether it's an aggressive play or more of a silent walk of contact, he just has a knack for getting that first kill. Crucial for the team. Finally late into this half, some momentum being built. The economy for Sad not looking too good. They're going to buy up what they can, making sure they can still afford into the next. Early cam for TSM to try to take B main. Sad with a similar setup, swinging off that turret.
Ooh. Yeah, the flash doing a lot of damage into the hands of Sad. They actually lost out on Skarn, which now can't hold the space up in Garage. Unfortunately, as well, not really a lot of util in that moment. Bob kind of just clearing that.
Yeah, in the meantime, with all that noise B, Darkus try to take an opportunity to walk up A, gets punished over there by Poison GMD, who are watching that. A minute on the clock. TSM slowing things, I was gonna say slowing things down for a second, but it's not really their MO typically. They're down to take the fights. Just dry swing from Poison GMD and wrapping this thing up.
Yeah, GMD taking everything in pretty nicely there. 7-3, so already a huge change. And of course, it doesn't necessarily even involve like getting the plant down. They've just been really taking this team of Sad Esports by stride. They're now looking for a timeout going on the opposite side. Last time this happened, TSM were the ones to take the step up. So possibility for a reversal there.
And 3 rounds right now, pretty good for TSM on Ascent attack. You know, that absolutely can be enough to win here, given you get the pistol round on the side swap and the nature of Ascent just being so defender-sided. Coburg sitting at 14-4, but crucially has the Killjoy ultimate, the lockdown heading into this next round, taking a timeout, thinking about how they want to play around that ultimate. You know, if they opt to, could play for retake, of course, just having that ready to go. But also the big concern with that, of course, is that 7 has the null command, could just counter the lockdown if they save it for the post plant rather than trying to entry with the null command. But on the past few rounds, what's been kind of crucial for me is that Sad have just totally lost extremity control. They haven't really been getting great info on either B or A main, and it's resulted in TSM executing on sites that are just not really being stacked up in. Like, Sad are just playing 2 people in either site, and they're kind of getting rolled over. This time Sad want to play off this one way, though, get into A main a bit. They've got that same turret over B. This control is going to be pretty important for them. Darkus now just jiggling over at A. TSM working into what looks like an A split.
Waiting to make the arrival onto A. Preston. Beautiful. Actually, GMG just staying in that, but of course, just looking to fight this off. If you're Sad right now, you really do want to win this fight. Especially economy-wise, seems like maybe the best bet. Those Zostal still stuck down towards backside. TSM making numbers happen and just diminishing the economy of Sad.
Sad are struggling so much right now with playing in the sites. Earlier in this half, they were finding so much more success with playing off-site, going for really fast retakes or like a pre-take where when the spike is going down, when TSM are working their way into site and getting their post-plant set up, they would just explode out of the smokes with a flash, a jet dash. You know, playing in those situations was really where they were thriving. And just trying to set up these crossfires with a couple players in sight, they've just really been getting rolled over by the TSM hits. Skarn with that, they're at least going to be able to carry 2 rifles over into the next round. try and make something happen with those. But look at the economy on TSM, 9K on 7. Yeah, he is facing this. There is just no reason not to.
Oof.
Last
Okay, another one in the
round
books.
half.
Just looking to clear literally everybody on the roster, leaving them with absolutely nothing to take in for this round. But yeah, last round, pretty sure all ultimates on the board just have to come out at this point. And you can already see Skarn kind of leaving themselves up to that Blade Storm there as well.
4 rounds, really solid for TSM. Coburg still with that lockdown, but of course 7 with the null command can just remove the ability to use that lockdown at a pivotal time in the round.
Toxins going up.
7 in a row for SAD, now 4 in a row for TSM. Already a good amount of rounds on Ascent attack.
Flashbang.
And pushing out a flashbang just to get some of that mid control. TSM have been doing a great job at just overall pushing themselves down onto sites, as well as gathering pretty early information.
And with that full setup here from the KJ on A side, no alarm bot in mid. Skarn has to keep his eyes on that area, trying to get info when he can, but when the wall goes up, it's going to be so difficult. He might take the first peek here in a fight with Sim, barely stays alive.
A huge workup already down in mid. Wall just there for some sort of reassurance, which I think they could just pull that up in this moment to gain even more ground, but it seems like pushing, yeah, some sort of smoke just to keep the B site their main objective, but already taken out by Bob as they slowly work themselves up. Suppression, not doing too much, but leaving them with absolutely no resources to utilize in this moment. Darkest, though, waiting down towards the back of site. Big pop flash, of course, leading out towards 7, but an Odin just to entry in, and it doesn't matter. Huge shots being made, and Bob looking to clear things out. 3v1, and 12 seconds left. The spike in hand, but a big peek coming through. Still fighting things off. Paranoia there. Yep, and Kohlberg looking to clear. Huge plays coming through from SAD, waiting for that suppression to end, just to make sure they can get this 8-4.
Switching sides.
A good final round. And Darkest just that little peek into market, barely caught one player and immediately called for the rotate. You can see how fast SAD were at getting over to the B site from A, backing their teammates up nicely. The players in backside, they're defending from sewer, not overplaying their position, waiting out the utility, finding good timings to peak, finally able to shut down that momentum that TSM were getting. Obviously a crucial pistol round here if TSM intend on making this comeback actually come to fruition. And, you know, with this Cypher on defense, with the Viper, certainly some good stopping power.
Yeah, attempting to apply some sort of pressure, that suppression there, but it doesn't actually catch anyone out this time, learning from previous mistakes, but a pop flash to lead themselves, and 7 still misses the shots. It would have been huge. TSM setting themselves up for success, for a possibility on the pistol round, but of course the shot's just not hitting. Now Proto left backside, wondering where their teammates went, and everybody else down. 2, 3, 4. Absolutely impossible to run away with this one. Still GMT trying to make the shots happen, although
Last player
really doesn't
standing.
leave too much impact. 1v1. SAD
planted.
Esports slowly letting themselves slip away. Now this pistol round looking a lot better into the hands of TSM, but Bob is
What a
just
shot.
insane.
So clutch. I mean, it was GMD who has just been a star for this team the entire season. Really their best player. Just swings out of heaven, just on a feeling, on an intuition, gets 2 headshots. I mean, there's a world in which you feel like that should come down to a 1v1, but Bob just ice cold jiggle, 1 shot. So clean from her. Now 3 classics for TSM. 2 sheriffs. SAD close this one out. TSM are really going to have to go on a run here.
The flash is the only thing holding this team back. quite possibly could do even more than that, but yeah, suppression just let out to see if this team wants to bait themselves into a fight. But absolutely no potential for that. SAD Esports in a very, very good position in regards to their weapons here.
Yeah, you can see 7 is set up for a pop flash there for GMD, maybe hoping for someone to tap the orb, and then flash comes through, he gets a swing, picks up an easy first kill. But look at this, just the silence from SAD. TSM feel like they're not there, and they want to stack a different area of the map now. SAD are going to get the freest sight you've ever seen in your life. With Coburg, of course, the KJ working towards B, going to try to find a timing in mid. A very common position. You see KJ's on for the attack side here. Now SAD just need to set up a decent crossfire. They should be able to lock this thing up, and TSM seeking to do as much damage as they can with the pistols.
Yeah, the advantage there's to take here on the side of SAD, especially now waiting with a paranoia just to take anybody out looking to make that move up in heaven. A huge fight waiting to be picked out. Coburg again, especially insane with a ghost and finding their first and a sandwich in. Now leading to its potential, but the paranoia left down. They're just making their way. TSM, absolutely no way of gaining that retake. Now, especially with a Vandal still in hand, looking to tear this team apart. When you're TSM, 10-4, SAD are just looking to end things.
You'll at least take that damage if you're TSM. 3 guns removed. Skarn already with the knives up, actually. That's pretty wild. Might be able to work around that to get a bit of a better buy off here, but now they really can. Just all that damage done from TSM is quite nice. That's going to allow them to at least try to get, you know, a bit of an economy building after losing that pistol round. So now they're set up for a flash A main to fight off of that.
Okay, suppression definitely making this a bit harder for Poise to keep this push from coming back, but even then, just a util dump coming through from A to make sure the attention is still spanned around down outside of main.
This is good though from TSM. They got that A control, that late flash, and now you can see the rotation from 7 coming towards mid to pick that up. Pretty confident that SAD are likely rotating off A with at least a few players going to try to get some space elsewhere.
Yeah, especially now just going to show you never really know how close someone is until you peek the angle. Oh, and this is huge. If 7 puts themselves in a spot of danger, there could be potential to get that first engagement from SAD, but even then, peeking out, the timing slightly off, and leaving a life in the hands of TSM. Now it's the work up here. Beautiful blind coming through, but it doesn't necessarily work out. The smoke creating lack of vision from Sim, but they still manage to fight things away. 28 seconds left, and the spike's still in hand. They could push this down through main, but then they have to go through 3 players here.
The timing on all that really awkward from SAD. Zosol and Bob were just so far away in spawn, still rotating over from A while that market control was taken. And Zosol didn't have a smoke up.
Seconds left.
So you could see Skarn. Oh my god, great shot, but man, listen, this thing is hopeless. You could see Zosol didn't have a smoke up actually for spawn, where Skarn had to throw the jet smoke down. And because of that, there was just a little timing where Skarn got seen and caught. Just not the proper timings there with the utility with that hit. And SAD pay for it. TSM take advantage of that mistake. Of course, SAD were on the bad buy. They are going to be able to get all of their rifles up now. Bob 1 orb away from getting the Hunter's Fury on this round. Could be pretty crucial. No ultimates in play right now for TSM.
Standing ahead.
Especially pushing that dart out. Try and find some sort of potential, but Poise.
Toxins going up.
That smoke left up. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Bob's still stuck in an angle where they're trying to pick off some sort of rotation.
TSM are really committing a lot of resources to control A main. GMD putting down both of his smokes, a flash from 7, mollies from Poise. And you can see Poise has no util left in the chamber, both of them gone, and so at the very least, nice from SAD to get a lot of that out.
Toxin screen down.
And I would say that's part of the reason that they want to come and re-hit A now. They don't have to deal with Molly's cutting off their entryway into the site. They're not going to get split up from that.
Now, but the dash moves forward.
Wow.
And Sim manages to find a shot just coming outside of that smoke there. Even then, 3v3 situation, Zostal. Spike now being planted. It's good enough on its own, trying to clear out whoever might just be hiding within hell, but it's not there. They read this like a book. They have an understanding, and now just trying to fight this off a 2K there. And it's up to Zostal. Absolutely no paranoia left to be utilized here. Now just having to fight this post flank. Proto's head slightly waiting to make the peek over, and they've seen it. Zostal, some information just left over, but even then they knew where they were hiding, and that's TSM slowly bringing things back up.
Yeah, just spotted out and triple swung. That kill from Sim, oh my god. That peek was so swift, and the dash back out of the smoke to trade that out, even things up, that was just some nasty work from him. And now TSM bringing this back on the favored side, playing pretty well so far. Really been controlling over towards that A side. It's something SAD are going to have to, be concerned with, but of course, drawing a lot of early util out, certainly not bad by any means. They're going to throw a really deep knife here towards A to try and, show that that's the area of the map that they're headed towards. But in reality, they're going to work this 1-3-1, it looks like, try and get up mid. Maybe break this tripwire if they can get deep enough.
I do like this, though. It gives them some space to not really have to watch mid as heavily, so that they can fight for sight and have that information already gathered here. Yep, Cam viewing the legs of these players, and they don't even know yet. Information given out earlier than they expected, and allows for a slight rotation to move forward down towards mid.
Yeah, big rotation from TSM. They've completely vacated the A site. And SAD are playing right into this. They're going to get owned on this B split by TSM.
Yeah, huge fight already happening there. Majority of the players kind of trading each other off. Still down to that 3v2. Coburg and Bob. Yeah, not going to utilize any sense of ultimates unless they can collect a Vandal here. So they have some space to slowly move themselves up. Coburg making the play already.
I mean, there's just no reason for Poise to peek there at all. The spike is down in market, gives his life away, gives the position away. Of course, they still have the gun advantage, but this just shouldn't be a 2v2. SAD have an opportunity to really ruin what should have been an easy TSM round win. They had the read on that B split.
Remaining.
Coburg making shots happen. They knew a beautiful read coming through from Sim, but 11 seconds. And they know all they need to do is stall, but a right click just ending the life of Bob for a Zippo clutch.
I mean, Sim just saving a round that should have never gotten that close. Respect to TSM for making the right call and getting that fast rotate on B. I love that they flashed out of that mid-smoke. Huge flank onto the players in market, got the spike down. But man, that just should not have ever gotten that close. Scary, scary moment for TSM. SAD are now going to take the timeout before running this full buy. Hunter's Fury for a post plant. Zostal with that Omen ultimate if, perhaps they want to make some kind of cheeky play. Teleport into the back B sewer off a B hit, something along those lines. Going to honestly give an opportunity, I think, for TSM to kind of calm down a little bit too, because they were really getting ahead of themselves in that round. I think they needed a little breather to kind of reset.
It was getting interestingly close. I am surprised they still try to fight that, because it was one shot for SAD to take things close to match point. It was one elimination, so the ego could have gotten the best of them. Luckily enough, didn't. Sim making the decision to bring out the Bladestorm, take that right click. Man, and
Here.
for SAD alone,
Here.
now is the time to really put in a new strategy.
And it looks like that strategy is just going to be an all-out B hit. And it looks like they're going to get the site pretty much for free, because TSM are going for this aggressive position posted up in mid. They just have to deal with breaking this tripwire. Molly to deny the market swing. Yeah, Zostal did actually TP back site with the spike, so it's all going to come down to this post-plant setup from SAD. And a big fight with GMD and Coburg for control of B main could happen.
Spike planted.
Such a beautiful hold from Market as well, just denying anybody playing off of that trip. And already Bob managing to find somebody making some of that damage happen, but the Hunter's Fury not really applying too much pressure, still watching it. Coburg knew the flank was coming. They heard the TP, and now just trying to fight for even more, but the free frag doesn't come through. Regardless, SAD Esports still managed to make this round theirs.
Oh, I was nervous for a second, but the SAD players did a nice job all swinging together there. But, I mean, you can't say enough about Coburg in this series. Has the position in B main, which is so important on Ascent retakes. Seven and GMD know it. They're swinging together to trade that out. And he gets both. That is just absurd from him. Bringing SAD to 11. And look at the economy for TSM. This could be the game on the line here. No money for the next. They have 3 ultimates to play with to win this round. Lockdown for Coburg as well here to take this site. Or play for the retake.
Yeah, and all they have to show for it now is absolutely no trips. Of course, they've been taken down, but TSM somehow managing to keep this team away from making that movement. Paranoia is completely gone. What else can you play with? I mean, in reality, it has to be planning that spike, possibly going for a reposition here.
Just shredded by TSM on the entry. They played that so well, just swinging for each other out of door, the peek from heaven. Obviously, so much individual skill on this squad as well, and now it's all left down to Zostal. Their debut year here in Challengers, an IGL that's been hanging around in that sort of tier 3 space for a while. Their first shot on a team that's really competing at the next level for them. Put in such a tough position here late in the game, map 3.
Cover going out.
And now the smoke has been laid out. That's all they've been waiting for. Regardless, 2 flashes still left available for 7 to push out. And a TP as well had already been managed to find. And now trying to isolate these 1v1s, but regardless, it's just 7 to lead the pack. 8 to 11.
Good molly as well from Poised onto the position, just making sure they leave nothing to chance. Of course, so close right now to losing this game. They can't afford to make any mistakes, and they don't there. Force SAD now back onto this eco.
It's looking pretty promising for TSM. If I'll be honest. Putting a little bit more caution into the win from SAD as well. You know, making them have to force themselves to think a little bit more about each and every movement they make.
Another deep knife lineup from Darkest to Landover in A main. Feign like they're trying to take control on that part of the map, but in the meantime, the real push is going to be a B split here. Walking up mid. After they break that trip, they're going to have to hit the go button.
Yep, and there they have. You can hear the flashes already coming out too. So yeah, they know this is a full set hit already leading out. Paranoia takes out Poise, but still managing to find one beforehand. So either way, looking good. Flashbangs just pushing themselves out of the way. With Zostal, just absolutely no refrag potential left there. SAD Esports stuck in a terrible position, and now especially with a sense of suppression left to have absolutely no say in how the round is going to go. TSM on an absolute roll.
Really well done from Poison 7. They're not giving anything away. You know, taking in a bit of initial contact, backing off, just playing off the flashes, not over swinging. It seems like they're really locking in on that aspect of the game. I think really their willingness at some points to take too many fights and give kills away has been their downfall in a lot of these rounds. But now that we're getting late in the game, they're really cleaning that up, trying to not make any little mistakes. Fast hit off the lockdown is what this one's looking like.
Oh, the off is actually set down from Sim, but they tend to deny this very, very nicely, going for a B hit each and every time on SAD. They've learned their lesson before. But that was such a big util dump. Absolutely nothing coming through from it either.
Yeah, all this has resulted in is delay, and look at how much time is still on the clock. early round, TSM have been really willing to throw their util fast. Poised, no mollies. 7 molly gone, 1 flash gone. And with all this time that SAD have to work with, you know, they should be able to now hit a big site execute where they don't have to worry about players getting cut off. If Skarn dashes in, the rest of the team can come in right behind them. There's not going to be a molly to delay them, to isolate Skarn.
Oh, and that's a beautiful fake. They've at least led run rotation away, but now push back regardless. Sim making sure they're still going to stay slightly in the way to try to gain some ground, but even then missing the off shot, which is dire. They got that. They would have at least held this back just a little bit longer. Even then, doesn't even happen. Now spray down coming through from Skarn. SAD Esports finding a way to keep themselves in the game.
7 in that one and done gets hard punished by the lockdown. Can't get out of logs. You have Darkest coming late into B main here. You can see him towards the spawn. Of course, such a crucial position on that reflank.
Yeah, having to make the op happen to try to take out that alarm bot, but rotation's coming in just a bit too late, especially on the side of Darkest. Oh, but regardless, they find out Sim. They hear the dash happening. They know they need to fight this back, but the op in hand might just be the biggest loss that comes down to it. Looking for some sort of collateral, but ends up giving away Coburg for that 3K.
I thought that was about to be a triple collat, to be honest. That looked like it was going to be nuts, but a good round from SAD. It comes down to them getting so much util out of TSM straight away. They were really thinking that fast B hit was going to come in with the lockdown, but no, SAD just got every single molly out. Used that lockdown, punished 7 so hard, and now they're on match point. And TSM, it looks like they're going to go for a fast push out of mid, try and crunch the player in tiles with this flash.
Oh, Coburg. Just let down to it. There's so much util just being thrown out into the wind. I mean, Hunter Suri kind of putting TSM in a very uncomfortable position down in mid, making them lose out on that fight. But the A site very heavily contested.
I definitely respect the effort from TSM this late in the game to bring out something new. Go for that deep mid push, the tiles crunch. But Coburg was able to get out of the way of the flash and take a clean fight, which he wins. I mean, something he's been doing all series long. Easily the MVP here for the SAD team, and they're going to slow things down with this man advantage. This is their opportunity to win the game. Win a game that I think a lot of people would consider a pretty big upset, given the caliber of the TSM players here, how good they've been historically, the success these players have had over the years. TSM poised, pushed up. Going to be crucial that he makes something happen, but goes down to Darkest.
30 seconds left.
And they're going to go quickly into this B site now.
Yeah, they try to make the effort down to it, but 7 with a nice shut off already starting off. Trying to shut this team down from making any entry onto site, but of course, barely any impact off that. Seems like already a 3v2, and the spike planted as well.
The only thing maybe going in the favor of TSM is that if a Proto gets close to B main, he can pop his ultimate to ping the locations of these SAD players.
Where is everyone hiding?
If it isn't enough. Already 9 seconds just waiting for that suppression to make its way. Possibly hoping that can make a difference, but 2 players just sitting along down in Boathouse. And no way to fight this. Already a double swing coming through 7, making a shot happen. And though again finding the positioning there, 5 health and a dream, waiting for the peak to happen. Zolstol just ends it off there. And a 13-9 and a huge win coming through from the side of SAD Esports. So something that they have been waiting for this whole time.
Really well done on that map from them. The biggest win I think that they've gotten so far this season. Not even I think. I mean, without a doubt, the biggest win that they've gotten this season, taking down TSM, a team of really solid players that we've seen play at such a great level over the years. One of the bigger orgs, of course, that we have here in Challengers as well. This team of SAD, just players that most people haven't heard of, right? I mean, they're, for the most part, all new to Challengers, all new to this level of play. Darkus, Zostal, Coburg. I mean, Bob is really the biggest name on this team without a doubt.
Yeah.
Just look at how good that this team is getting.
Yeah, I got a name on my mind, and that's Dryad.
Hi.
Dryad. What's up? How's it going?
Good. I was thinking, would you consider this a fake comeback by TSM? Did it get to that fake comeback point?
No, definitely not.
No?
I'm so out of focus. Whatever. No, there was not a fake comeback by any means. I mean, that was just, they got 4 rounds on Ascent attack, which is super respectable, the side swap. And they lost the pistol round, which that's when it really gets tough, of course, right? Like if they win that pistol, I mean, with the way things were going, that could have been the game win, but that's just how it goes sometimes. The crucial pistol round can really make all of the difference.
It got really close, to be fair. Even after that pistol, it seems like there was a chance there for TSM to come back, but things got really messy even in this last round. And you guys were bringing it up. It's, you respect the idea that TSM tried to do something that they haven't done before, but it's also so risky when you're doing it potentially in the last round. It was an attempt though, but to be fair, it was just a sad coming on top and looking so good from the way that this started. It was 7-0, and it was such a big advantage on that defensive side that just Sad knew how to capitalize from this and close it out. You guys mentioned a couple of those players that were really stepping up, as we see for that Killjoy, and I think overall everybody had throughout this series on this side of Sad some really great moments that allowed them to look, as you were saying, the most dominant that we've seen from them.
It was insanely dominant. Honestly, I'm just surprised more so at the performance, at the way that Sad Esports kind of handled the comeback and how they could kind of divert that. If anything, TSM were really stepping up. And so you saw those adaptations, right? Like canceling off any sense of op push coming through from Market, right? Just utilizing the molly and the smokes to try to push that back to allow them that space down on B site. And it's stuff like that that allow this team to thrive, which I really enjoyed.
And it was that back and forth that we saw on that second half that was able to be closed out, especially taking advantage of the things that we didn't see and the things that we saw for the first time, right? At TSM that did not play this map of Ascent before in the split, and a new composition, that standard composition that is brought by this side of Sad, and that ended up finding them so much success. And yeah, you guys were saying it was a composition that allowed those individual players that we've seen on those agents to thrive and look the way that they did. But we're gonna send it to the series highlights. Let's take a look at everything that happened, and when we come back, we have an interview with one of your favorite players, chat.
Finish. One enemy remaining.
Slimmy.
Spike down B. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. One enemy remaining.
One enemy remaining.
Take it. One A. Yikes. One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready. Bad luck.
One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. One enemy
Last one down.
Betty.
One enemy remaining. Seconds left. Thrifty. One enemy remaining. Clutch. One enemy remaining. Long. remaining. One enemy. 10 seconds left. Clutch.
Killed my bot.
Powers up. Team Ace. Attackers win.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? In life, you make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.
Welcome back, everyone. We just got the chance to see SAT take the win against TSM. It was a 2-1 victory, and that puts them in a 3-2 in that group where they were playing. So now is a chance. I promised you it was going to be an interview that a lot of you wanted to hear, and I'm here with Bob. And Bob, throughout this whole split, you had such an amazing performance when the team was winning, when the team was losing, and I think we really got the chance to see it today. But I want to ask you first about the last map that we got the chance to see. It was a map of Ascent where you guys were running a little bit of a silly competition with the Gecko, with the Yoru, and you find some success early on, then it got difficult, and now you go to the standard composition. Tell me the reason why you go to the standard comp again.
We thought that our Gecko comp was hard to play, honestly, when people had some footage on it, so we just swapped to our default comp. But we do have 4 or 5 more comps in the bag for Ascent. We just decided we would run default because there's probably enough to beat TSM.
And it did prove that way, especially when we saw at the beginning of it as 7-0. You guys were looking dominant at the beginning, and it was just a great showing for SAT. I want to ask you as well, when you look at the split that you just ended, how do you feel about the team? Because it seems like every single time the team was making really great improvements and was looking better and better. You only take the 2 losses against Turtle Troop and M80. So when you look back, what do you think about the evolution that the team has had?
I think it's been good. I think we had our first team struggles as a 5 during the split, and we kind of got over it. I think team's improving pretty well. I think by the time Ascension comes along, we'll be proper contenders for it.
I like that. It's something that a lot of people are putting the team as a dark horse, and every time you're starting to prove the reason why this whole team is so good. But I want to ask you, because I talked about the mechanics as well. You've been so good when the team is winning, when the team is losing. No matter what, you're always there mechanically, and we've known you as a player that is very good mechanically from Challengers so long back to Game Changers, and now I think we're seeing such a good form for you individually. What is that individual training that you do to get to this level?
Well, I think in past, back when I was with Sonics, the Oz team, my mechanics weren't that great, honestly. I felt like everything else was my strength, but really all I did was I just put more time and focus on my mechanics. I started aim training a lot more, pretty much every day, and honestly that was like my biggest weakness, and now it's one of my strengths, and I think I have a very like balanced skill set now.
And it again, it really does show. I feel like you were always such an insane player, but now we're seeing those mechanics look better and better every time, so it's great to see. And now my last question for you, and it was about that second map actually that the team loses, and it's that Breeze from TSM. Do you think it was hard to adapt to the composition that they were running, or do you think you guys were just not prepared for what was going to be that map of Breeze?
I think the composition was a bit difficult because they played it differently to other teams played it with the same composition, and I also thought we just lost a lot of like close rounds, and honestly they were just playing their post plans really well, and it was hard for us to retake properly.
And then it doesn't matter because you reset and you win that last map, so it's all good. I'm so happy to see you succeed, Bob. It's congratulations once again on the team taking this win and ending positive on the group, which is really important. So congrats again. And with that being said, we're going to close out this interview. We have, though, another match to go on today. One last match between Core and Oxygen right after this break.